This is Political Animals. I'm Mustafa Janadu in Washington, D.C. I'm the analytical one. Kunle Williams is in Lagos, Nigeria. He's the analytical one, but he's also the hopeful one about the world. I'm the cynical one. But anyway, I'm not so cynical right now because Iran is putting up a good fight. Whether they lose or not, they're putting up a good fight. But my focus today is going to be on Trump said that he was America first, and he said he was against war. First time running, he said that Obama was a butcher for trying to go for war with Iran and Syria. He said that he's for peace and everything. First thing he does when he gets president, first time, was kills General Soleimani, who was meeting with Israel and America, supposed to meet with them for peace deals. He killed them. Almost thought about doing bombing Iran, but didn't. And now he's back in office, and he's bragging that he double-crossed Iran to give Israel time to bomb Iran by surprise. And now he's on the verge of a big decision. Is America going to send forces in to help Israel? They're already helping Israel with logistics and weapons and money, but are they going to take it further and help them to debilitate Israel? Because apparently that Iron Dome does not work. Israel's getting rocked. They rocked a site with the Mossad yesterday, and Israel's trying to bomb Iranian TV and stuff so that we don't know what's going on. What's really going on is that Israel is getting pounded. Iran is getting pounded too, but Israel is getting pounded blow for blow. And the myth of the Iron Dome is $1 trillion waste of money. So this also exposes what America does. They spent American dollars on the Iron Dome for nothing because it's not working. So now we're going back to what I said, America first. Tulsi Gabbard for the CIA, I don't know if she's the CIA, but she gave the speech a couple of months ago in which she said Iran is not planning to do any nuclear armament or enrichment, and it doesn't seem like they're going to do it anytime soon. Trump said he doesn't care what he said. He ignored evidence from CIA and from American intelligence that it's not happening. He ignored it. Who's Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is she with Fox? Is she a politician or she's just a Fox analyst? Is she? I forgot. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She's a politician.
Yeah, she's against the and she's a Republican. She's a MAGA.
She's a MAGA. A
MAGA loyalist, and I am a MAGA loyalist too. Make America great again, not make Iran bad again. That's what this hat's supposed to mean, right? When Trump wore this hat, he said that America's going to be first again, and we're going to be America first. So I'm going to still wear the hat, but I'm going to disown the hat from Trump. Okay.
Well, Trump also against the war.
Yeah. So to cut it short, MAGA, at least 50% of MAGA, of Americans, are against this war. And Trump is not following their mandate. So the name of this show today is America Last. Trump's putting America last because he's destabilizing America and putting us into an expensive war to put Israel first. That's what he's doing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So what I think is going on is that the Israeli lobby is a very powerful lobby. And I think that they managed to force Trump's hand in whichever way I cannot yet see. Clearly, the problem that Israel is having is that even if they're hitting Iran is a large, vast expanse of land. So you can't bomb the country's land space is huge. Israel, apparently, from what I understand, is somebody who can get around the whole place in like 20 minutes. It's not a large area to target. So you can do damage. And also, I think, was it last night? Iran only launched 30 missiles. And those 30 missiles did more damage.
They were precise precision strikes. Strikes, yeah.
Yeah, so even though they're launching fewer missiles, they're doing more damage, which tells you that, yes, the Iron Dome is not working. Because what Iran does is they first of all send like 100 cheap drones, and they overwhelm the defense system with these cheap drones. And by the time, and these are expensive weapons. You know, you've got a $10 million ballistic missile shooting down a $10,000 drone. You're going to get into trouble at some point. And the assumption had always been that Iran was going to run out of bullets before Israel, because Israel can rearm itself. But the problem is, even though that is the advantage, Iran's weapons are much cheaper. And they
Yeah.
have stockloaded. I believe it's beginning to look like they stockloaded more than what we thought they said they have. We thought they had 3,000 ballistic missiles. Good knows
They have about 200,000, 100 to 200.
I
That's
don't know.
that's probably more like it. But they said they only have 2,000 and it can only last for a couple of weeks. Story. Sorry, can I go
Well,
on?
they're not nuclear weapons, so they can lie about them. But I mean,
No, they're not nuclear, but they have.
Actually need nuclear weapons to as a deterrent, so that they can be like Korea to the West. They
No,
mess with them.
Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons, but they have precision missiles and they have things that can do a lot of damage. And they have up to 200,000 of them. And you have to remember, if you drop a nuclear weapon, it does one big damage. But thousands and thousands of missiles coming in can collectively do more structural damage than a tactical nuke. Because obviously, you're not going to use a real powerful nuke that blows up the whole world. So, and the thing is that the numbers, see, what it was is Trump is using Israeli intelligence rather than American intelligence. American intelligence told this guy that Iran is not doing this. And I believe that American intelligence must know what the true capability of Iran's missiles and the numbers they have. But Trump doesn't want to listen to that. He's listening to Israel. But I think he knows that Israel is lying, but he's being forced into a space because for some reason the AIPAC has power over American politicians. Not for long, though, because the MAGA movement ain't having it. And my prediction is that someone like Tulsi Gabbard or Marjorie Taylor Greene might become the next president in 8 years after Trump steps down. And they'll bring in the real movement. And I think we do need a female who cares about the country. I don't think these people are good. Trust me, I'm not saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is good, but women have children. They don't want to see, whether you're a Democrat female or a Democrat or a Republican female, females are more calm-headed because they know what war is and they don't want their children to die. What do you think? I'm being serious. What do you think? Yeah.
Well, I would say that's an argument, but then Kamala Harris was a warm up.
Oh, yeah. And Hillary Clinton, but notice that Kamala Harris, she doesn't even have children, does she? She's a frigid woman, cold, frigid. I mean, I'm generalizing. She's not she's a frigid, cold, angry woman who sent a lot of black people to jail. Same thing with Hillary Clinton, a woman who never had a son for her husband, and her husband was getting blowjobs in the White House. But these Republican women, they're like family values. They're racist. We're gonna have children. We're gonna live in the countryside, and we're gonna put America first. I got 15 children. You get my point? So is the racist. You know what we said? You said it before. The liberal party is not family values. The Republican Party is actually family values. You get my point? It's just that they're racist, but they still believe in, and they're agrarian. They believe in farms. They don't believe in big cities. They don't believe in war and all that. What they believe in is, let me have some slaves and let me live on my farm. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The liberal left shouldn't be about whether family values or not. Family values shouldn't be what division and left side politics. It should be something else. But somehow American politics have managed to make it a slogan of the left. I don't know how that happened. I don't think in any other
what family values mean?
country
to me, what family
in the
values
world.
mean? To me, what family values mean is protect my community and my family. So to me, family values is actually anti-war and should be pro-government spending on schools and everything. If you're truly family value, go on. Yeah. I don't mean like abortion.
Yeah, family value should be important to both the left and the right.
It should be important to both of them.
Yeah. Yes, family value should not be left and right. Yes, and the left shouldn't have divided itself on the issue of sexuality. Also, that shouldn't have been politicized. That was an opportunity for the right to take on policies that are more popular with most people. Most people are not gay. Most people are going to be divided on that issue. And now the Democrats have now put them in a disadvantage they didn't need to have to be in by making this kind of issue a dividing issue. But coming back to what's happening with Trump, I think the damage in Israel is severe. And I think that's why he's having to ramp up the threats. But he's being forced into this move because clearly he doesn't want to do it. He's not a war president. And what I mean by that is even if he wanted war, which he doesn't really want, he's not good at conducting it. He would be poor at strategy.
Yeah, he's a businessman also. He's an economist, not a war.
Still living in that belief that America is as powerful militarily as it was in the 1990s, because even if America is the only one that has basket-bombing bombs, can they do it? Iran is no joke. Iran has shot down shooting down F-35s, and they said that they are just starting, and they have a lot more anti-surface missiles because that's what they're using in their defense. They're not flying jets. So their jets are firmly asleep somewhere, parked away. Those ones are for security or for fighting
They don't
small.
need jets. With those missiles, with those precision missiles, they don't need jets. And also, they would only need jets if they want to bomb. But Iran is not Israel. Iran is not out to bomb and kill civilians the way Israel is. You know.
Yeah, Iran is defending itself against an unprovoked attack against a sovereign state, which is in contravention of international law. That's not opinion. That's just fact. Iran is not attacking one, and even if Iran was lying about its nuclear capability, let us just even assume that they are lying. The response into their lying is not to attack them and bomb them. And it's certainly not to bomb the nuclear facility, because even if there is no nuclear war, the nuclear fallout, if they actually do manage to bomb this place, could be almost as bad as dropping a nuclear bomb anyway, because they do have a lot of enriched uranium there. So the damage would be as bad as a nuclear bomb. And a nuclear bomb in Iran is no victory for the Middle East, because all the countries in the Middle East will feel the fallout. It would cover the entire region. It would be deadly. So even if Israel are not responsible for launching a nuclear weapon, they could be responsible for causing a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah. And once again, so this is reckless. And America was moving away from this. This is why Trump got elected, because he said he's going to focus on America. And one of the reasons he got elected was that he said he was not going to ramp up these wars. He's gotten in, and like you said, I think he's been hijacked by the Mossad and by AIPAC. And I think there may be some threats on his life. Something is going on for him to feel the heat. And also, it's because Israel took that attack without telling Trump. I think they didn't tell America. And you go out here and you start bombing Iran, and then you underestimate Iran, and they're getting bloody. Because I was thinking Trump was hoping that Israel would beat them easily. So it shows you that, once again, Iran is a close member of BRICS with China and Russia. And you best believe, we don't have proof, you best believe everything that's happening now is also in coordination with Russia and China. They're probably giving logistical support to Iran, and they're also giving Iran strategic advice. And they're probably supplying them with raw materials. Iran has some of the best nuclear scientists, missile scientists, and mathematicians in the world. So they know how to make good drones and stuff, but they don't have raw materials. All of these things, like Korea, Korea has metal and stuff. They're probably getting this stuff to Iran. This is why it's important. Remember when Putin and Kim Il-jung had their bromance last year, and they were hanging out? All of this, they probably were preparing for this type of stuff. What I'm saying is that Korea is very important for, North Korea is very important for what I call them the new Axis. So they're providing, and also South Africa. Remember when they found ships that were coming into South Africa, were carrying materials from South Africa. So you best believe that probably covertly China and Russia are in a war, a proxy war now, helping Iran fight Israel. I'm sure that's happening. It's just that they do a better job of hiding it. And so don't, just because Xi, what's his name? Xi looks like an old kind man with a kindly smile. Don't be surprised. That motherfucker in the background killing people.
North Korea has nuclear weapons. They've had nuclear weapons for decades.
And they have raw materials
for death to America. Yeah, they've been saying death to America, but they're not stupid. They're not going to launch them. Everybody that has nuclear weapons is defensive. If North Korea is not going to launch them, what makes you think Iran's going to launch them?
If North Korea did not have
if they had them, so what is completely unfounded?
Yeah, if North Korea did not have nuclear weapons, it wouldn't exist today. It wouldn't exist today. The U.S. would have attacked them. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, so it's a deterrent. Yeah, it's a deterrent.
It's a deterrent. And if Iran has nuclear weapons and they're able to let one off, and they'll say, back off, the next one's going to land on you if you launch so much as a stick against me, then, then that stops it right there in their tracks. And that is why they need to be very careful. I suspect that Iran was enriching above the levels. They did enrich above what the civilian levels of enrichment was. Yeah. That was evident, and they didn't deny that. But they said that even if that's the case, it's not a reason to attack a country. You can come in, we're disputing that that's the case. We're arguing that we haven't done that. The inspectors have come in, and also, that's where they pulled the same thing they pulled on
on Iraq. So Iran said, okay, we're willing to actually meet with you because they felt, I believe Iran felt that they knew that Israel was about to strike them. So they said, okay, we will comply. Let's meet with you. And then Trump said, yeah, we're going to meet. Then the next day they attack Iran. That's what they did to Iraq. This guy said that he was going to let weapons inspectors come in. Saddam. George Bush said, no, it's too late. We're going to go to war with you because they want that war. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Iran, even though, so Iran was willing to be compliant, and they've come to the table several times. And the U.S. and Israel killed the Iranian people, the Iranian officials who were going to be meeting at these peace meetings. So it's clear. And we know Netanyahu found every reason to not go to the table for Palestine. So he's doing the same thing with Iran, but he's fucking with the wrong person. And also he's fucking with the nuclear war. But why do you think Bibi doesn't care? He's 88 years old. He's lived his life, so he doesn't mind taking the whole world down with him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they basically they're treating Iran like they think they can treat Iran the same way they are treating Hamas. And the problem is Hamas is a people under occupation, and Iran is a sovereign state.
It's a sovereign state, yeah. And it's a democratic state. It's not just the Shah. There's a good balance of power in Iran. And for every general they kill, they just put a new general in immediately. And these guys are brave. Can you imagine being chosen? You as a general, you know you're going to die. And then as soon as they kill you, those guys, I give these Arab guys, it's because of their Sunni, no, it's because of their faith. They believe in beyond the world. They're very spiritual people. So they're willing, it's even an honor to die because they know that they're doing this for their grandchildren centuries ahead. They're dying for their country. Go ahead. What do you think? Yeah,
and the nuclear powers that are on the side of Iran. Pakistan is a nuclear power. Russia is a nuclear power. China is a nuclear power. North Korea is a nuclear power. This thing can get out of hand if time is not taken. They should not be treating Iran as if they're some kind of mob job, small fry. And that's the problem. And I think that they haven't really understood that a sovereign country can hide facts from you because they're sovereign and they're a big land. I mean, they're
and not only that, they're part of a BRICS. They're part of an BRICS is an economic union, but you best believe that there's also more, because to me it doesn't make sense to say you're a trading group and you're not also like NATO, because the only way you can defend your economic structure is through military. You understand what I'm saying? So they have tons of resources available to them from China and Russia. I'm talking about information and things like that to hide what they have. And they've hidden their stuff. Their stuff is way under the ground. I don't even think a B-52 bomber can get to what they really have, you know.
What I even suspect is that Iran might have about 60,000 missiles, not 3,000. But then they've now told Israel we have 3,000 in these particular sites. And so Israel thinking they've wiped out Iran.
That's what they said earlier today.
Wiped out nonsense. Nothing.
So what happens is Israel has spent its bombing on sites in which Iran has already moved them to other sites. That's what's happened. We know that's what they're doing. You're playing. Remember, Iranians have some of the best Iranians and also Russians, some of the best mathematicians and physical scientists in the physics, things like missiles and jets and things. And also, they're very logistic. They have very good chess players. So what I'm saying is that when you're looking at Iran, you're looking at a civilization that goes as far back as Mesopotamia, which built up the whole world. And all of Persia, same thing in India. A lot of the Indians are from Persia. So you're looking at people who are smart. They're not country bumpkins. They're they know what you're doing. If you and I know what they're doing, you think the Iranians who are smarter than us don't know? You get my point? Yeah. They know. They're not fools. But the Israelis are fools because there's rabid dogs. And if you heard now, Israel has shut down their airport so that Israelis can't leave. Because they said that if not for that, Israelis would leave the country and nobody would be left. 1/3 of the population would leave because they know what's coming. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on to the next thing very quickly. What's going on in Russia?
Yeah, so the last I heard in Russia, I think I'm behind on Russia, but the last I heard in Russia...
we'll talk about it a little bit, then we're about to head out and drink beer. Go ahead.
Yes, there was an attack early 2 nights ago that 15 Ukrainians were killed. I think Russia launched a strike into the building. They're still ongoing with their fighting, toing and froing right there and then. But obviously the Middle East is beginning to take over precedence. Now, if America does decide to involve itself in assisting Israel, it's going to actually need to use quite a lot of resources, which might be a problem for Ukraine, because Ukraine might want those resources. At some point, the American armed forces is going to be stressed even there, because these are big wars. Russia is you need a lot of ordnance to fight a world power like Russia. And then you're going to now fight Iran that has the upper hand. You're going to have to stretch your resources there as well. I don't know how much they've got already. I mean, they're not going to start launching ballistic missiles from the United States mainland. So they're going to have to get things into Israel. And if the Houthis start with their blockades again, how are they going to be arming Israel? It's going to be mostly by air. Because they're going to have a problem getting everything else. Once the Houthis are like, you want to start arming Israel, you have to arm them by air. And I don't think you can. I think you need more. You need more ordnance, and I don't think the amount of ordnance you need to defeat Iran, I don't think it can be moved by air to Israel as easily as all that. Israel is a small mass. That's another thing. Strategically, Israel is easier to wipe out because you need fewer bombs to wipe out a smaller area. Iran is bigger. So even if Iran has a lower hand now, they can recover, just the way that Russia took a pounding from Germany at the start of World War II for the first several months. And then by 1942, after 2 years of losing, they started pushing back because they were just bigger than Germany. And that can happen to Iran. Russia just survived and then adapted their technology and fought back. And this is a war of cheap drone technology, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles. You know that Iran has an advantage. This is also coming back to Ukraine. Because of all of this, more resources may be taken away from Ukraine to face Israel, and that's going to be a problem. That's going to work in Russia's favor, and if they could also try to apply the pressure now, because indirectly, by making America have to support Ukraine more, takes away what they can do to help Israel.
And the more resources that America shifts, Russia may even go boldly and say, we're going to take all of Ukraine, just as a ploy to save Iran. This is the way I would think.
Exactly.
And then they would say, then before they say, we're going to take all of Ukraine, so now Europe will panic, and they'll say, Putin will say, put pressure on them, tell them to leave Iran alone, or I'm going to keep going. This is chess. This is what I would do if I were a general, to save Iran, because Russia needs Iran, China needs Iran, BRICS needs Iran. You get my point. At some point, you'll start seeing Burkina Faso and those countries send troops to help fight Ukraine. You get my point. As part of you're seeing a new global order. Sankara went to and met Putin in Russia for a World War II day. You see what I'm saying? There are new alliances being made.
And coming to Nigeria, I know that we had, as stupid as Tinubu was to be talking about warning Israel whilst he's ignoring the Benue State massacre of 200 people, children burned to death. And Tinubu was addressing the world saying, telling Israel, or else don't do X, Y, Z. Okay, now that's a very, I don't know why he's doing that. Because I mean, he's being supported by the West right now. He's not being supported by Iran or Russia and so on and so forth. So I don't know whether it's his dotage that he's getting confused, or whether he's trying to appeal to elements within his government, because he knows that Nigerian people there's a lot of Nigerian people that are a bit stupid, that are saying, oh yes, Israel, the God's chosen people, that they don't really understand. They don't understand history. They have Bible, but they don't.
I think Tinubu is supporting Israel or supporting Iran. What are you saying?
Because Israelites and Israelis are two different things.
Yeah, he needs to shut up. Yeah. I think he's just saying it because Nigeria is a religious country. Because even on our ISL page, everybody defends Israel because they believe this biblical thing. I'm not saying the Bible is wrong, but they think that that supporting Zionism is the same as supporting the children of David.
I mean, but to put it simply, you have Iranian Jews, you have Palestinians.
Yeah, but clearly you're explaining to someone who knows. Devil out there, you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. You have Zionist Hindus. So Israelis and you have Zionist atheists. Israelis and Israelites are not the same thing. And
but the problem, even in America, once you start saying that, people start yawning and go to sleep. They say that one not grammar. You get my point?
It's that ignorance. people
I hate
to
to say it, but Nigerians and Americans don't want to hear. It's not that we're stupid, but we don't like complex arguments. We want everything to be straightforward, black and white. Yeah.
They call it grammar, and then they walk straight into a disaster. And people who
And then
know,
they said, if I had known, if I had known.
yes, and that's the most beautiful thing when people just go ahead and go off on their own doing nonsense, and there's no wisdom to it. So let's hope that
we'll end on that. Yeah.
Yes,
we have enough content now to cover, so our next show will probably be on our next political show will be on Sunday, but we'll see. You never know, something may happen tomorrow. You know how we do. All right, so take us out. Yeah.
All right, so it's been an interesting day of drama and so on and so forth today, and we are looking at the 6th day completed of this tic-tac-toe between Iran and Israel, and we hope that things get better. And from myself and Mustafa, it's adieu, and we'll see you on the next one.
I do like Ragalis. Bye.
All right.